Hello fellow Zelda fans, it's Hyrule Monkey, and I hope that you enjoy today's theory. To those who have played multiple titles in the Zelda series, there is more to the story than just saving the day. There are recurring themes, enemies, and people in each game. None recur more, however, than the hero himself. The young hero eternally bound to appear whenever evil is nigh is one of the central themes to the Legend of Zelda series. Though the hero always appears as a young boy full of courage, not all incarnations are the same. Each has a different journey, path, and trial. Some, however, receive no trial at all. In each adventure, Link is either summoned, awakened, teleported, put to sleep, or directly challenged in some way, thus starting his adventure. Over the course of his adventure, the hero must gather mystical items, defeat enemies, obtain or forge a legendary blade, and confront the big bad. These elements remain constant across the Zelda franchise. However, one theme that seems to come and go is the presence of a personal trial. I first noticed the existence of this theme while playing through The Legend of Zelda: The Skyward Sword, and then again when playing through the HD remaster of The Wind Waker. In both games, Link must pass a personal trial set forth by the goddess or the gods themselves. It really got me thinking, wondering, and eventually researching why must some incarnations of Link pass a trial while others do not. That's our topic for today, so let's dive in. We will start our analysis by categorizing the games based on whether a personal trial is visible or not. The games in which I could find no visible trial are the Minish Cap, Majora's Mask, Four Swords Adventures, the Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, the Oracle of Ages and Seasons, Link's Awakening, the Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and the original Legend of Zelda. The games in which a trial is visible are the Skyward Sword, the Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, and Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. Has a theme already presented itself? If not, you're not alone. While there are hints at a theme already, unless you can recall the entirety of each of these stories, it is most likely still hidden. So let's further pick apart these games to find why a personal trial exists in some and not in others. Once again, we will start with the games in which no trial appears to be present. In close to chronological order, we will begin with The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Link begins this journey by delivering a blade to Minister Potho, and chaos ensues when Vati, the winner of the tournament, is presented an opportunity to touch the legendary Picori blade. Vati instead breaks the blade, petrifies Zelda, and unleashes a chest full of demons upon Hyrule. Link is then tasked with reforging the Picori blade and capturing the demons now spread across the land. In this game, the Triforce is referenced in imagery but not directly used, and the Master Sword does not make an appearance. Next up, we have The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. In this direct sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Link falls down the metaphorical rabbit hole and finds himself in an alternate world called Termina. In this impromptu quest, Link uses the Ocarina of Time to perpetually repeat a 3-day cycle to free 4 giant guardian deities to put a stop to Skull Kid's shenanigans in order to return to Hyrule. In this adventure, Link is not in Hyrule, does not possess the Master Sword, and does not have a piece of the Triforce. The Triforce is not seen or referenced in this game. Moving on to the next installment, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Four Swords Adventures. In this title, the hero Link must wield the Four Sword and battle it out with what seems to be a new character that shares the same name as Ganondorf in the Ocarina of Time. Ganondorf is defeated by Link along with Vati, and Ganondorf is left sealed within the Four Sword. In this installment, neither the Master Sword nor the Triforce is used. Swapping over to the adult timeline for a moment, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Phantom Hourglass. In this adventure, Link and Tetra are pulled into the world of the Ocean King by the Ghost Ship and must use their wits and courage to forge a sacred blade known as the Phantom Sword, a blade with the Phantom Hourglass built into its hilt. In this game, neither the Triforce nor the Master Sword is used, and once again, they are not in Hyrule. Ending out the adult timeline is The Legend of Zelda: The Spirit Tracks. In this title, Link wields the Locomo Sword and arrives before Malladus, defeating him in battle. Once again, this game neither features the Triforce nor the Master Sword, but it does take place in New Hyrule. Moving into the Fallen Hero timeline, we have the Oracle Adventures, referred to in Hyrule Historia as the Trials of the Triforce. While the games are the Trials of the Triforce, no trial appears to be present in the Oracle of Ages and Oracle Seasons games themselves. It is important to note here that this is the same hero from A Link to the Past. The hero is transported to the lands of Labrina and Holodrum respectively. The Master Sword is not used in a single playthrough of the game, and instead only appears if the player has linked the counterpart game for a continuation of the story. It appears that this is more like a DLC add-on item. The Triforce, however, is not directly used, though it is referenced as well as seen. Next we have The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. This hero is also the same hero from A Link to the Past and the Oracle games. On the hero's return journey to Hyrule, he is waylaid by a storm that puts him to sleep and knocks him into the dream of the Windfish. Link eventually is successful in waking the Windfish and returns to the land of Hyrule. In this game, we once again have no reference to the Triforce, and the Master Sword is once again not present. That's it, right? In order for the hero to be tested, the adventure must take place in Hyrule, use the Master Sword, and have the Triforce present. Well, that's a commonality between these games, but there are 3 more games that exist in this category of heroes that do not receive a personal trial. These, however, contain an exception to the previous games. First, we can look at the original adventure, The Legend of Zelda. In this title, the hero Link is asked to collect 8 pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom hidden across the land and defeat the evil Ganon, who currently holds the Triforce of Power. In this adventure, the Master Sword is not used. However, 2 pieces of the Triforce are present and obtained by the hero. Next, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. In this adventure, our hero was summoned by the Great Deku Tree, gifted with the precious Kokiri Emerald, and sent trekking across Hyrule Field to Princess Zelda in Hyrule Castle. Link is then set to work obtaining the other spiritual stones, keys needed to open the Door of Time. Upon returning to Castle Town with the 3 stones, Link is given the last of the 4 keys, the Ocarina of Time. Link opens the Door of Time, draws the Master Sword, and is found worthy to wield it but not old enough to take up the mantle. He wakes up 7 years in the future with only 1 sage remaining to guide him on his journey. Link must then awaken the 5 remaining sages, and once this is done, Ganondorf is defeated and sealed within the Sacred Realm by the collective power of the sages. In this, the Master Sword is used, and the Triforce that was intact was broken and distributed to Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf in this adult timeline. The last adventure in this category, and similar to that of the Ocarina of Time, is The Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess. In this adventure, Link begins as a ranch hand in the village of Orden. After a team of moblins bust in, club Link in the head, and carry away the children of Orden, for reasons I don't believe are actually explained during the course of the adventure, Link demonstrates his courage as he pursues the children to the Wall of Twilight before being forcefully sucked in. Once in the Twilight Zone, Link is protected when the mark of the Triforce appears upon his hand, as he is transformed into a noble beast instead of a ghostly spirit. Link is guided by Midna as he collects the fused shadows and the pieces of the Mirror of Twilight. Link also collects the Master Sword and uses it to best Ganon. It is unclear to me, however, if the Triforce is actually present in the game. While the mark of the Triforce is seen upon Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf's hands, this does not necessarily mean they possess a piece of the Triforce. All we know for sure is that through some trick of the gods, Ganondorf was given power, and this is not a guarantee that that power was actually the Triforce of Power. Everything I have seen that attempts to explain that it is the Triforce of Power, and how he could have received it, are nothing more than theories that at this point, thanks to Hyrule Historia, have been accepted as fact, and inaccurately so, as it contradicts what we know from in-game evidence in the Ocarina of Time about how the Triforce behaves. I've heard rumors of an interview where Aonuma confirms that Ganondorf does have the Triforce of Power in Twilight Princess, but I have not yet seen this interview, so if you have, please leave it in the comments below, a link to it, a reference, or something to help me find it. That would be a great help. Either way, the outcome of that information isn't super important to the theory. You will see why in just a bit. Now, with all of that out of the way, we are finally able to move on to the games that do feature a trial. First up, and most obviously, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Skyward Sword. Link, summoned by Fi, the spirit of the goddess sword, draws the sacred blade. Link must then forge the sword in Furore's, Din's, and Nehru's flames. In order to reach these 3 flames, Link must pass 4 trials designed by the goddess Hylia to temper and test the young hero's spirit. In each trial, Link must collect sacred tears to fill up his spirit vessel. With all of that complete, Link eventually enters the Skykeep, the final dungeon of the adventure. Here he is able to collect the Triforce of Courage, the Triforce of Power, and the Triforce of Wisdom. With this Triforce complete, our young hero is able to make a wish for Demise to be eliminated. As a result, we see the goddess statue and all of Skyloft descend down to the land below and bury the remnants of the Seal of Demise in the earth. The Triforce remains intact at the end of this game, with the hero being worthy to use it. The next game in which we see our young hero receive a test or trial of the gods is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. In this adventure, the young hero of the winds must collect 3 pearls given to each of the 3 guardian deities. Much like the spiritual stones from the Ocarina of Time, these 3 pearls also act as keys. After placing all 3 pearls in their respective statue, the Tower of the Gods emerges from the ocean. This is where the young hero is tested by the gods. He must show forth his courage, use his wisdom, and display his power by defeating the boss of the temple. After completion of this task, Link rings the bell atop the tower in order to open a portal to Hyrule below. Once there, he is able to draw the legendary blade, the Master Sword. And upon doing so, the castle roars to life and Link finds himself needing to slay many enemies in order to exit back to the surface. Link then scours the Great Sea in search of the 2 sages whose prayers are needed to reawaken the Master Sword, and collects the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Courage. Once all of this has been accomplished, Link returns to Hyrule where he is recognized by Ganon as a hero of Time Reborn. Link's Triforce of Courage is subsequently taken away from him when Ganondorf smacks him around. With the Triforce complete, Ganondorf is caught monologuing as the King of Hyrule goes swoop game and makes his wish on the Triforce instead. After the wish is made, the Triforce is seen separating and ascending. Whether that is to the surface or back to the heavens, it is unknown, but Hyrule is drowned, Ganon is defeated, and Link returns to the surface alongside Zelda with the goal to find a new Hyrule. Let's hop over into the Fallen Hero timeline for the remaining 3 games. In chronological order, we have The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In this adventure, Link follows his uncle to the dungeon of Hyrule Castle to find that he has already been defeated. After obtaining his sword and shield, Link is able to navigate through the castle to Zelda's location. He is then instructed that he must gather the Pendant of Courage, the Pendant of Wisdom, and the Pendant of Power. In this adventure, the pendants do not act as mere keys as they do in the Wind Waker and the Ocarina of Time. Instead, they themselves serve as a trial. These pendants are specifically hidden away in dungeons that must be conquered. Upon collecting the 3 pendants, Link is able to enter the Lost Woods and collect the Master Sword. After Link is successful in defeating Ganon, he finds himself in possession of the full and completed Triforce. Using its power, Link wishes for the Dark World and the world of Hyrule to return to normal. In that very same wish, he also asks that the king, the priest, and his uncle be revived as well. Along the same lines, and close to the same story, we have The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. In this adventure, Zelda recognizes the young hero from a dream and gives him the Pendant of Courage. Link is then tasked to collect the other 2 Pendants of Virtue in a similar fashion to A Link to the Past. Our hero collects the 2 pendants from their respective dungeons and proceeds to the Lost Woods where he is able to obtain the Master Sword. Once again, these pendants do not act as mere keys, but serve as a trial. The 3 Pendants of Virtue, proof of the hero's worthiness and completion of his trial, are presented before the Master Sword prior to Link obtaining it. Once the sages are free, Link proceeds to Hilda's throne room with the Master Sword as well as the Triforce of Courage to battle it out with Yuga, who is now in possession of 2 pieces of the Triforce. Yuga attempts to steal the Triforce of Courage from Link, but with the help of Princess Zelda, Link is able to defeat him and complete the Triforce. Link and Zelda then return to Hyrule and place their hands upon the Golden Relic, wishing for the Triforce of Lorule to be restored. The Triforce then remains intact until the events prior to the original Legend of Zelda, whereupon the king divides the Triforce, giving a piece to his daughter Zelda and a piece to his son, while hiding away the 3rd piece, the Triforce of Courage, away in the Great Palace. This brings us quite perfectly to the last game in the Fallen Hero timeline, The Legend of Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. In this game, Link has already collected the fragments of the Triforce of Wisdom and has earned himself the Triforce of Power by defeating Ganon in the previous game. In this direct sequel, Link embarks on a journey to receive the Triforce of Courage hidden within the Great Palace in order to reawaken Zelda I. Once he has defeated the 7 Palace Guardians, Link is presented with one final challenge, his personal trial. Link must defeat his own shadow to prove that he is indeed worthy of using the full and complete Triforce. Link then uses the full power of the Triforce to reawaken Princess Zelda. So, what do all these games have in common? Well, each of these games features a hero that at some point in his journey comes face to face with the full and complete Triforce. Of these great heroes, a total of 4 have actually made a wish, while all 5 had access to the ancient relic in its complete state. Some, multiple times in the case of the hero from A Link to the Past. Those who had received no test, no personal trial, never obtained or stood before the complete Triforce, while those who did had the ability to use the relic without it breaking. That is my theory. That is why some heroes receive trials while others do not. I'm Hyrule Monkey. I hope that you enjoyed this theory, and I'll catch you the next time I monkey around in Hyrule.